Hi there, this is Ed Herzog from Online Growth Tools, and what I want to show you today is the pop-up builder for Elementor. Now hopefully you're already familiar with Elementor. It's a page builder for WordPress. It's one of the most popular, if not the most popular page builder there is for WordPress. And they have both a free version and a pro version. The pop-up builder comes with the pro version. It's the only way to actually get access to it. It's actually something people are waiting for a long time because Elementor had been around for a couple years. And before they came out with their own pop-up builder, the only way to do any sort of pop-up in Elementor was by using some sort of third party, which, I used a lot of different ones myself because, again, there wasn't any other option. I started using Elementor pretty soon after it came out, which was 3 years ago. And so for, 2.5 years, I was using other plugins, other solutions. But finally, they came out with their own version. And it's actually one, in my opinion, one of the most valuable features of the pro version of Elementor. But it's not perfect. I want to take you through this. I want to show you what it can do, but also tell you what it can't do. Okay, so let me go ahead, and you've been looking here at my screen. So here is, I'm inside my website here, and you come here under templates, and there you go with pop-ups, which is this page here. And then, it's very easy. You come in here and you add a new pop-up. You can also import templates if you have, for some reason have templates from somewhere. And you can see that, again, if you're familiar with WordPress, this looks like anything on WordPress, right? I mean, you've got your, this is basically, it integrates into WordPress, right? And you've got your short code as well if you want to drop that somewhere on a page. But, normally you're looking at something that's going to be a pop-up. So, again, you just click on Add New. It then tells you to choose a template type, but it's already got pop-up selected, and then you want to name it. We'll just, I'm just going to name this Trial since I'm not actually going to use this. I just want to take you through this and show you how it works and what it can and can't do. Now, as we're waiting for this to load, one of the best things about this pop-up system is, again, it allows you to use and do everything that Elementor itself can do. So if you're already a fan of Elementor, you already know that it can do a lot of different things and that it's an amazing tool. And so, now all those, for example, widgets that you love in Elementor, you can put them right into your pop-ups. And it doesn't, they use the term pop-up, which I think is a bit of a misnomer here. They've got, you could look at the categories here. They've got, these are the classic pop-ups. They've got a fly-in, which is a little thing that comes in normally from the side. They've got a full screen, which, again, is a full screen takeover. You can do a hello bar, so a bar at the top. Forgot to show the bottom bar, which again is a bar at the bottom, obviously. And then a slide-in, which is a bigger slide-in that comes from the side. So it's not just that, and you can even, let me just show you here on my website real quick. Because when I used to work as a life coach, a lot of life coaches, they don't like to use pop-ups. They find them, kind of rude, intrusive. But, you can do it this way here. I mean, on my front page right here, I've got, this button, sign up for weekly updates. You click on that and boom. And that is one of the pop-ups that I created using the Elementor Pop-Up Builder. So it's not, one of these intrusive pop-ups. This is something somebody chooses to click on and you get that pop-up. So, you can use it that way as well. So they call it the Pop-Up Builder, but I think in some ways it's a bit of a misnomer. So, we'll just do a classic one here. And, they've got their different styles here. Now, one of the things, again, in terms of letting you know what it can and can't do, is that there is no blank template. This is one of the things that I don't like. I've recently created, Elementor is having their annual birthday sale, and I wanted to promote that because, again, I think this is a tool that is really good, and a lot of people can benefit from it. And so I wanted to create a pop-up on my website to let people know about that. But I ended up picking one of these because there's no blank one, right? So sometimes I'd like to start from scratch, and there's no option to do that. So I had to pick one of these and basically delete everything. And it's not a big deal, but sometimes it's hard to find, like this one here has got some background going on it, and sometimes it's hard to know where exactly is that background. You gotta search around to find it. So I do wish they would come out with one that's just blank so you can start from scratch. So, I'm just gonna pick one of these here. It doesn't really matter. We'll just pick this one here. These all say Pro because, again, this only comes with Pro. So you can preview it right there, or you can just go ahead and insert it. And again, okay, so there we go. So again, Now this is one where somebody enters their email and then click send, or they could click this here that says no thanks next time. Again, though, you can put anything you want on this. This is this is an opt-in form, but you could completely redo this form. You could make it, for example, let's say you want to promote your, or let's say I want to promote my most recent video. Well, I could, change the text up here to say, hey, check out my latest video, and come over here. Again, you've got access to all the different Elementor widgets, and I could, I'll just actually search for it to be quicker that way. Oops. Drop this in here, and then put in the link for a video that I want to promote, or it could be a blog post. I could ask people to share my content. I could ask them to follow me. So there's really no limit. You can also, again, because the Pro gives you the countdown timer. If you've got a promotion that is time limited, you can drop a. Oops, that was a counter. Sorry, I meant to do a countdown timer. Picked the wrong widget there. Went too fast. Nope, this one here is from the Pro version. So again, if you've got something that's a time limit promotion, you can drop that in there. So there's really no limit. You can, if you're familiar with Elementor, you already know all these amazing widgets that you get, and then you can just drop them in there and create whatever you want to create. Again, they've got these templates you can start with, but you're not limited in any way by these templates. You can do whatever you want to do with this. And again, these are all customizable. These, the widgets are customizable just the way they would be on your page, right? On your, if you're creating a web page. Then from here, of course, you can do your thing, save draft, and then, but then what you want to do, obviously, is you want to put the conditions for where it's going to display. So again, you add this here. You can add condition, and so you can either include or exclude, and over here you can delete things if you decide. So if you want to include, you can do an entire site, archives, or singular. So click on singular. It could be all singular, or you can pick different options here. You could pick page, and then again it could be all pages, or you could name, let's say my contact page right there. So it's going to include it on that one, and only that one, because that's the only one I've selected. I could exclude something too, though. So I click here to exclude. Let's say I put this include on entire site, but I want to exclude my blog posts, right? So it's only, in that way, it's only going to show up on my pages. It's not going to show up on my posts. So I could do something like that. So you can keep adding conditions to put it together the way you want it to do. Okay, the way you want it to be displayed. Then from there you get triggers, and again you've got 6 different triggers. So on page load, and you can set the number of seconds. On scroll, where you can select whether it's a down scroll or an up scroll, and the %. On scroll to element, so if there's a particular element, you put the selector in the element, and then put it here as well. And then when somebody scrolls down to that particular element on your web page, then then your pop-up comes in. Again, it doesn't have to be a pop-up. It could be a slide in, a hello bar, a bottom bar, etc. You can do it on click. Again, I showed you that on my web page, although there is a better way to do that. But again, I showed you how to do that. Where was that? Again, on click, boom. After inactivity, so again, if somebody hasn't done anything for a while, you can set the number of seconds in which you want that to come up, and then on page exit intent. And again, you can obviously turn on more than one of these depending on what you want to do. I've got, for example, I showed you, that you can click on this to get that, but then I might have already triggered it. I do have an exit intent one here as well that comes up that is, shows the exact same thing as this here. And that's it. Then you go here, you pick your, so we'll just say on page load within 2 seconds. So 2 seconds after they load the page, it pops up. Then you can set advanced rules. Again, this is not something you have to do. It depends on how you want to put things together on your web page. You can show it after a certain number of page views. You may want to only show it to people who are really engaging with your content. you might want to show it after X session. So, maybe the third time somebody's visited your website, again, they're really showing some interest in your content, then you want to show it to them. You can limit it to how many times it shows up. Sometimes I've been on some web pages where, it's like every single page you go on to, they show the same pop-up, and that can obviously be very annoying. And so, you can show it up to a certain number of times, so that way you don't have that problem. You can show it based on, somebody coming from a specific URL, either show it, hide it, or I'll admit I have no idea what regex is, but if you do, you've got that option there. You can show it when you're arriving from, again, here they give some options, a search engine, an external link, or an internal link. You can hide it for logged in users. It could be all users, or you can set up something custom. Again, administrator, editor, author, etc. And then you can limit by devices, right? So you've got desktop, tablet, mobile. I often will create a separate thing for the mobile because the mobile is so different. For example, with the, what I've read with exit intent is it doesn't really work very well on mobile. It's hard to know when somebody is making that intention to exit. So I've got something completely different set up for when somebody looks at my mobile website. So you can set that up. And again, you can mix and match these, right? I mean, you can say show it after 3 page views for only people on desktop, right? So create some advanced rules that interact with one another. It doesn't have to just be one of these advanced rules. So you do that, and then you save it and close it, and that's it, right? I mean, that's basically how it works. Now there are some other settings here which I'll show you, which are important. You can change here the width. If you want to make it wider or skinnier, you can do that. You can, of course, depending on how you want the content to fit within the container, you can change that. You can move it about where you want it to kind of be placed on the screen when it comes in. You can go, however you want. And put an overlay. You can, you can turn the close button off. That's kind of rude, I think. But, you can turn that off if for some reason you want to do that. You've got all sorts of different ways in which you can enter the screen, and you can preview. So, bounce in right, like that, slide in up, like that. So you can look at those. You can put how long the animation lasts. Let's see, what else? Those are just the title and whether or not it's published. You can put dynamic content in here as well. If you're familiar with that, it's an important setting in Elementor Pro, this ability to put in dynamic content. What else? Again, you can put in, this is really just like anything with Elementor. You've got background type, here we've got that color, but I could change it, make it that color instead. I could put in an image. Hold on, oops. Okay, so that's for the pop-up. Again, you can style, if you've got an overlay, you can style that. And you can style the close button. You can have it inside or outside. You can change the position of it. So again, a lot of nice features for designing some really nice pop-ups. And then you've got some advanced features here. You can show the close button. Again, maybe if you've got it, I'm not sure exactly how this, but maybe if you have it turned off here, then you come over here and here it says automatically close after 5 seconds. So maybe you don't have the close button, but you make it automatically close after a certain number of seconds. You can also prevent it closing on an overlay, prevent it closing on an escape key, disable page scrolling. So if you don't want people to be able to scroll down while you've got this displayed on their screen, you can do that. You can also, I like this one here, you can avoid multiple pop-ups so that, again, depending on how you have things set up, it says here if the user has seen another pop-up on the page, hide this pop-up. So, you may have multiple pop-ups that can potentially show up on the same page, but by using this, you can prevent that. So, that first one shows up, then subsequent ones don't. And then here you can open by selector. This gets back to what I was saying. You can put a selector in there, and then that's actually how I have this set up here. Is I have this button have that same selector, and then that's how that pops up. So that's basically how it works. I mean, I think it's in general a great tool, a very well thought out, well planned tool like basically everything in Elementor. Now again, it is missing a few things. It's missing some things that some people find very important. One is that there are no analytics. And that's, that could be a deal breaker for you. Or, if you're watching this video, you might think, I need analytics. I need to know what % of people are taking action. If you've got this opt-in form here, you're giving, a lot of people have opt-in things on their website. You opt in my website and I give you this free thing, and you want to know, hey, are people actually choosing this giveaway, choosing this thing that I'm giving away to them? Is it 5%? Is it 20%? Is it 50%? There are no analytics here. Now, you can, I was trying to think about this. There might be a way to kind of back your way into that if you have something like Google Analytics set up on your website. So you could look at, if you've got a landing page, you could look at how many people are visiting your landing page via your Google Analytics, and then compare that to how many people visit your thank you page, which normally gets triggered after, most people have it set up so that after they, opt in, they get sent to a thank you page. And a thank you page is normally hidden, they don't get picked up by Google. So, you could compare how many people visit the landing page with how many people visit the thank you page, and that way get an idea as to what % of people are opting in. But you're not going to get any sort of analytics probably if you're using, if it's not an opt-in thing, if you're asking people to share, if you're asking them to follow you, if you're asking them, to take some action that isn't opting in. So, that is a big drawback. There are no analytics. There's also no A/B testing. So again, if you want to be able to test out different options, okay, here I've got the green background, but I want to test it against a background that is a different color, right? I mean, this was before, where did I find that? Of course, now I'm not, yeah, it was over here. Wait, of course, now with the pressure on, there it is. Okay, so, maybe I want to test out that green versus this blue, right? And see which one gets, of course, since you have no analytics data anyway, right? How would you even know? So it's kind of, you need the analytics data to even make the A/B testing worthwhile. So without the analytics data, you really can't do A/B testing. So that is, again, a drawback. I mean, there are other tools. I've got, for example, Thrive Themes, which has both of those. Now, again, though, if you're using a third party, you might run into other issues. Like I used a tool called Convertful, which I loved. It's a great tool, one I highly recommend. But it's based on JavaScript, and JavaScript can slow down your website. So, everything that has a positive comes with a negative, right? I've got Thrive Themes. I don't have an active license, but the license I do have gives me lifetime updates. But I've got some sort of, I've talked about this in another video on Elementor, that I've got some sort of an issue where things don't actually, some of the colors, particularly with buttons, end up not showing up properly. And because I don't have an active license, I don't have any support for my Thrive themes. I don't have anybody who can help me. Again, if you've got Elementor, you've got Elementor Pro, you've got support for using the pop-up builder, right? That's built into Elementor Pro. So, again, you've got some disadvantages, but you've also got some advantages to using the Elementor Popup Builder. The other thing that, one thing I've seen some people say is that Elementor doesn't have the kind of two-stage opt-in form. And if you're not familiar with that, it's basically where, like let's say this here is your pop-up form. It's actually a page takeover. And sorry, I'm actually displaying the second page. It should be this one here. This is from Thrive. Again, I just load this up to show you. So, these are very popular nowadays. Apparently, they do tend to get better opt-in rates where you have people not just opt in directly. Like right here, somebody adds in their email, click send, and boom, they're in. But these two-stage ones, first they click on a button that says get your free guide. And they're automatically taken to basically the same pop-up, but now it's got the, enter your email and get your free guide. So it's a two-stage process. Elementor does not have that option. So, that may be something that, you think might be good, that you like using. That's not something you can do with the Elementor Popup Builder. So that basically, I think, takes you through everything that the Elementor Popup Builder can do. Again, I think it's a great tool. I use it personally on my website. Again, I do, I'm a data person, so the fact I don't get any data is a bit of an issue for me. but I think it has enough advantages for me that it is the tool I choose to use right now. I do, I hope they come out with analytics in the future. Again, part of the issue with Elementor, and I understand why they do this, is they don't let people know what they're working on. They don't want their competition to know what they're working on. They don't want Divi or Thrive or Beaver Builder to know what they're working on, which is understandable because Elementor has really obviously been pushing the envelope in terms of what you can do with WordPress, and they don't want their competitors to steal what they're working on. But so we don't know. I mean, tomorrow they could come out with a massive update that gives us analytics for this. We don't know. But for right now, they don't have that. So, you do have to be able to live with the fact that you're not going to have that data that you might be used to if you used other tools. So that's it. That is my overview of the Elementor Popup Builder. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section of YouTube. And I love it, always love it if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel. I've got more videos coming out, not just on Elementor, but on other tools to help you build your business, to build your online business. And finally, if you do choose to buy Elementor Pro, if this video, in some way helped you make that decision, I will put my affiliate link in the description of the video. I do always appreciate if people support my business. I do receive a small commission from Elementor, but it doesn't change your price at all. So you don't pay anything extra, but it does help support me, and I can then continue to make additional videos. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.